Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Enjoy the ride, Texas, and that's what we're doing here once again with our good friend Michael Pijanowski. Thank you for coming back to the show again. Good to see you.
It's nice to see you, Jill. How are you today?
I'm good, but I think you're better. You just got a haircut.
I did. Yes, thanks for noticing.
You're welcome. The little things we notice. Please introduce yourself. You're so much more than the haircut. Please tell us what you do.
My name is Michael Pijanowski. I work at Enjoy the Ride Consulting in Addison, Texas. And so I work with awesome people to help them find new ways to interact with their world. I work with people who have anxiety and depression. I work with couples who are in conflict. I help people break old habits, form new habits, and I help people with dating and relationship issues.
Yay, never ever back in the Dallas area, I'm calling you. So back in 2017, I was there for a few months working on a show called Morning Dose. Do you remember Morning Dose?
No,
it was on CW33. So Melissa Rycroft from The Bachelor, she hosted it, and a few other people. So I came in as a fill-in because it's a Tribune broadcasting station, and I got to spend like Thanksgiving, like it was November and December down there. It was amazing. So I was in Irving at like a little Sabridge suite. I got to discover like Dallas, and I was looking at houses, and I'm like, I'm going to live here. I was trying to manifest it. The job didn't work out. They didn't hire me, and the show got canceled 3 months later. Anyway, that was part of why I guess they didn't hire me, but they didn't tell me. But anyway, it's beautiful down there. I love it. What part of Dallas specifically are you in, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm in Addison, which is just north of.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Irving's not far. I went dancing in Irving Saturday night. So.
Oh my gosh. Do you know where little Staybridge Suites are? Near the CVS? But anyway, it was like home for 2 months and I loved it. So anyway, back to you. What do we have in store today? I know we have some good things. I think meditation might be first on our list. You tell me.
Yeah, we're going to talk about meditation today. And what I'm really, my goal in doing this is to introduce people to meditation, maybe break down some misconceptions that people have about meditation and really manage your expectations. Because I hear a lot of people say, well, I tried meditation, but it doesn't work. And so it actually does work, but they think, because of their expectations of whatever they think they know about meditation, it's blocking them from having a really good experience.
Sure. Got it. So how do we meditate for those that are more like, I don't have time to meditate. I don't understand. It doesn't work. I mean, I always say I don't have time to meditate. And then when I talk to my friends, like, all you need is 5 minutes. You could even start out with 2 minutes. It's all about baby increments.
And we'll get into that later. We'll talk about, meditation for busy people.
That's a good topic.
It is. Yeah. And I think that's also, starting with misconceptions. That's one of the things that people say, well, I just don't have time for it.
Yeah.
And so, but there are a lot of things that we can do to really start that practice. And like I said, if we can drop that misconception of it's not working or I don't have time, then we can start working with it. And when we see the results, we're going to be happy with it. And then we kind of get hooked. I know I did.
Good. Awesome. And then we'll continue over now, of course, as unfortunately, my phone is trying to load. Okay, here we are. Sorry, I was going back to my notes. I do have to look down. I apologize. I'm not an expert. I don't memorize everything. So besides meditation in general, we're going to talk all about the benefits, right? The styles, the guided versus the unguided. Where are we starting, Michael? Sorry.
All right, let's start with the benefits because, cool. It's important to kind of know why would you do it? You're not. So really, the benefits are peacefulness, for one. When you can be in any situation and feel this sense of peace, whether you're standing in a grocery line, you're in the car in traffic, you're in some situation at work, and to feel a sense of peace underneath everything that's going on, it's really pretty cool when you get there. I mean, you feel a sense of calm. Yeah. And this is all part of the practice. One of the side effects that I noticed was an improved memory.
Interesting.
Because and I really observed when this was happening, and like at times when I like remember somebody's name. Well, a lot of times, we meet somebody, and then 10 minutes later we're like, what the heck was their name?
Yeah.
And so I find that because I have less emotional or verbal chatter going on in my head, I have a lot more capacity to remember things because I don't have this constant stream of garbage running through. And so it makes it easier actually to remember things because it's just, the mind's not as crowded. It's like you got this crowded auditorium and people are, standing room only. And then you add one more person, then you're, you expect yourself to work with that. But, if there's a lot of empty seats, you got capacity, and you meet somebody new and you find that there is more capacity for memory. We're also healthier. We talked about this on another episode where we talked about the benefits of what you think and how you feel affects your health, how it affects your genes, how it affects the way that your genes express, I should say, because genes are really just a blueprint. They don't really do anything. They're really just blueprints for the way we are put together. And then how they are expressed is a function of the environment they're in, which is subject to how we think and how we feel. And so without getting into that whole discussion again, it's healthy, it's good for your health. There's actually a paper coming out sometime, I believe in January, a peer-reviewed research paper that is going to show the direct result of meditation as it relates to COVID, as far as actually blocking COVID from entering your cells. And so they've been doing scientific research on this. And so, yeah, it's really, really interesting stuff. They've already got data that they started right at the beginning of COVID, where they took, and I was actually part of one of these research groups, which was pretty cool.
How cool.
So where they take blood from you. So I went to a meditation retreat, and so they choose a certain number of people, maybe around 30, and they take your blood before the event, they take your blood after the event. And so they had this one guy that had just an amazing time. So they're looking at his brain scans, they're like, wow, this guy had really a moment.
Yeah.
And so before the lab closed down, they're like, hey, let's try something. Let's take this guy's blood and let's expose it to COVID. So they took this guy's blood from the sample before the event, and they exposed it to COVID, and it got infected. It was like completely red.
Wow.
Then they took his blood that they took after he went to this 1 week event, and they exposed it to COVID. And they said it was so little infection that they would say it was none. Now, this was in a 1 week period. Same guy, it's blood samples that are a week apart.
Wow.
And because of, the meditation, and he had a really, really good experience. And so, they're looking at all this data, and so, yeah, it's healthier. So there was actually some scientists there, and I got a chance to talk to some of them because I was part of the research group in April when I went. And this one girl that owns the lab, I was talking to her, and so I said, well, what's your take on this? And she says, I've probably looked at 10,000 brain scans, and I've never seen anything like what we're seeing in this event. Never. I mean, it's so outside of what is considered normal that they were just really stoked about it. Anyway, so, more of this stuff is ongoing. So the other benefit is that we're setting an example for our children. Our children watch what we do. They listen, but they watch. It's all about, how do you feel? They know what we feel. Mm-hmm. They watch what we do. And, and I always tell people that are new parents, I said, you just wait till the first time they do something you don't like and you see yourself in it. And it's like, oh, they learned that from me, doggone it.
Yes, confirmed. Yes. Mm-hmm. Guilty. My son is 4, right? So they're young, 4 and 6. But he's always whining. And then my mom, when she was alive, my father confirms, you were a big whiner too, Julie. I was like, come on. And then I listened to myself at the house, and I'm like, if I'm yelling, come on, let's go. I'm like dragging out my words. And he goes the same thing. And I'm like, where'd he get? He's like whining. And I'm like, I'm whiny. I am whiny, hence he's whiny, but
yeah, and they pick it up and it's like, where'd they get that from? And so, so when we're in a better state, we're setting the example for our kids and they just pick it up. They pick up stuff by osmosis. It's not like we have to make this heroic effort to, hey, put your nose in the book. You need to read this and I'm going to tell you how you should be. No, you need to like be what, you need to be your best self. And then they just kind of will emulate that.
Love it. Love it. My friend from Addison. Awesome. What else do we want to share about meditation?
All right. So different styles of meditation, and we're just scratching the surface of all this, by the way. And also, this is my perspective. So you can find a lot of people have different ideas, but this is kind of the way I see it. So first style is yoga. So yoga is a form of meditation. Now, when you get into yoga and you look at in India, how there are so many different strains or varieties of yoga, and they're each, some of them actually refer to it as yoga as a technology. And so I've known several people who have had really cool spiritual experiences, and I found out that they had been studying yoga for years. Because if you've ever done yoga, when you're getting into one of these poses and you're holding it in like very precisely, you don't have time for your mind to spin about the jerk that was, cut you off in the morning or what's going on at work. You don't have enough brain power left to think about all that. And so it's a form of meditation because you're really you're involved with your body, you're putting your attention on your body because you want to do these poses right. And so it is a form of meditation.
Never looked at it that way.
Yeah. I mean, it's just an observation because I've talked to several, several women, especially who go to these meditation retreats, and, a lot of them are yoga teachers and everything like that. And it just seems like it's kind of a precursor. So the other thing is there's sitting, there's standing, there's walking meditations, lying down, guided meditations, unguided. So there's a lot of different, and I'm just, like I said, I'm just kind of giving a very slight overview because there's a lot of pockets within this. And I think sometimes it gets a little overcomplicated, and sometimes it's better to just kind of err towards simplicity. Let's just keep it simple and try to do our practice.
Great. And can I just ask a random question? Did you ever watch the movies Couples Retreat with Vince Vaughn?
Oh, I don't think I've watched that yet. No, I mean, I know this years ago, but
it's a funny one. It's a spiritual retreat, but it's just a funny movie. Okay, sorry to digress.
I'm gonna have to bring that up.
It's a good one. It's a good conversation starter. It's a good date movie. It's just funny. It's awesome. But talking about meditating, relaxing, go to masseuse, but then all this other crazy stuff happens. It's a movie, of course. All right. What else, Michael?
So, like guided versus unguided meditation, and I've done them both. But before I talk about that, technology has really come into meditation. 100 years ago, these yogis were, they're sitting cross-legged and they're just, they're meditating, and everybody's trying to get the gist of this, and am I doing it right? And I don't know if I'm doing it right. Well, technology has really helped in this regard. I know it helped me a lot. Because I started with I used to have a Muse brain sensing headband, and now I have a couple other things. So first, before that, I'm going to show you this little device that I have. It actually clips on. It's Bluetooth. It clips on the earlobe.
Okay.
And it communicates with my phone. And I have an app that is called Inner Balance from a company called HeartMath.
I've heard of HeartMath. Yes.
HeartMath. So. And so the app is called Inner Balance. And so what it does is it actually is measuring your pulse, and it gives you a visual on the app. You have a visual, they call it a mandala. There's a couple different ways you can do it, where it's like a flower that's getting smaller and it's getting larger. And what you're doing is you're matching your breath, the inhale and exhale, to this rhythmic flow in and out. And so the object to this is that they found out that actually your heartbeats, the distance or the time between your two heartbeats is actually different every time you take a breath.
Really?
every time. In fact, this Garmin watch I'm wearing, it measures stress, it measures something they call body battery, and so this little sensor, what it does is it wants to keep you in a like breath coherence is what they call it, where your brain and your heart are actually in sync with each other, and your breathing has a lot to do with that. And so it's a practice. It's something you just have to practice until it kind of becomes second nature. Now, Heart Math Institute, they, organization with a lot of scientists, and they do a lot of research. And one of the things they found out was that the heart has its own nervous system, and it actually has its own brain cells. It has intelligence similar to the brain. And they also found out that the heart sends more information to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. I mean, this is like fantastic research that they're doing. That's like, it really changes the way that we're going to look at a lot of different things. And to think that the brain or the heart has intelligence which when you think about it, it's like, it kind of makes sense now, when you feel something and you feel it in your heart or you feel it in your body somewhere.
It's like,
yeah. And also the heart is the first thing in a fetus to develop, before even the brain. And so there is that intelligence that's there. And so this is a way of practicing and measuring how well you're breathing. And also, we talked before about breathing into your diaphragm, and that took me, I don't even know how long. It's hard to tell, because once it's a habit, it's hard to know. But I would hazard a guess that it probably took me close to a year to really, really get the habit of breathing into my diaphragm. Which is, also helps break up anxiety, because we carry a lot of anxiety down low. So anyways, so these little devices are really cool. The next thing I have is my little brain sensing headband. This is my newest one. And this one actually shows, it's got several sensors on the inside of that band.
Wow.
And so it's picking up pulse, it's picking up brain waves. And this one actually shows, it's a little higher end than the first Muse I had, where it actually shows you, the delta, alpha, gamma, beta, theta brain waves. And so what you can do is you're measuring your how calm you are. And so when you use one of these, when you think you're not making progress, you're actually making really good progress, because you can't feel it, but you can see it. And so now you're measuring what you're doing. And so back to the guided versus unguided, because these devices are really handy. So I've done guided meditations. I started with unguided. One of the things with the guided meditation that I found is that it can give your mind an excuse to chatter. So when I start with meditation unguided, you're in fact, there's a great app called Rain, where it has all sorts of white noise. So you can, if you're not in a totally quiet place, it's like you have the air conditioner noise, rain, a stream, all kind of stuff that you can focus your attention on.
Sounds relaxing, actually.
Yeah. So unguided. So you're spending your time meditating, watching your breath flow in and flow out, and then focusing on this white noise or whatever you want to do, but you're focusing on your breath. Well, then you notice that your mind starts spinning about something. And then when you become aware that your mind is doing that, you just bring your attention back to your breath, and you're doing this constantly, and that's why people say, oh, I can't meditate. Well, my mind's just taken off. Well, the fact that you notice that your mind is spinning is actually good, because that's awareness. That's what you're really looking to do. You just want to become aware of your thoughts. You're not trying to stop your mind because you can't do it. It will slow down over time in doing your practice of meditation, but it's not like shut up, because you're telling your brain but that's your mind telling you to shut up, and that's what you're trying to quiet. And so you can't do it that way. It doesn't work by force.
Speaking of the mind, how does mindfulness kind of play into all of this?
So mindfulness is another way of meditating, really. when you think about, like, when you're folding laundry, we're really not folding laundry. We're thinking about everything that's happened during our day or what's going to happen during our day, depending on what time of day. And so we're not really present doing what we're doing. I challenge anybody to take a shower and to only keep your attention on taking a shower and washing your body and your hair, and just watch the thoughts that come up.
Yeah.
Because there's, so the practice of being aware that your mind is spinning, you can do this really anytime. And so mindfulness is a part of this.
Awesome. Good. All right. In the present moment, we got to stay mindful. The holidays are here upon us, and a lot of us tend to lose our minds around this time of year, right?
Yes.
Now, we touched upon when we first started in regards to, people being a little busy, too busy. Can we talk a little about that?
Oh, we're out of time, aren't we? Darn
no,
it.
We're not.
I'm kidding.
We still got 8 minutes. You're good.
Yes. Okay. So mindfulness is a great place for busy people. It was one of the things that worked for me when I was working on trying to breathe into my diaphragm. Is, I'm driving in the car, my mind's going, doing its thing. And then I realize, oh, I'm breathing in my chest again. And then I start breathing. And so throughout your day, you can just do these little things of observing your breath at any time throughout your day. You don't need any extra time to do this. You can just insert this into everything you do and become mindful that you are breathing and where you're breathing, and then celebrate your awareness. So every time you're aware that your mind is spinning about some goofy topic, and just like, yeah, okay, great. High five yourself. It's like, I'm aware. I seen it. And you don't have to go, oh, what am I, you don't beat yourself up about it. It's just, oh, I noticed that. And so I'm just going to go back. I'm just going to return to, where am I breathing? And this happens so many times during the day. And so, yeah, if you're really busy, it's a great place to start.
Yeah.
It'll really kind of, set the bar of kind of meditating before you even start meditating. So if you do these practices and then you start making some time to meditate, you're probably ahead of the curve a little bit because you've already really been doing it. And so the real practice is awareness. It's awareness. It's putting your attention on something other than the mind stuff that's going on all day, because it's really distracting. It's disturbing. It's it ebbs and flows. When somebody really irritates us, it's it's going 100 miles an hour, and so to be present under those circumstances can be difficult. But as we practice, we can realize, oh, I just got triggered, or I'm standing here in the grocery line, and I'm in the line that's going the slowest again, and so, but then you can just go, instead of getting angry, you could say, well, okay, I just felt anger come up, and I'm going to focus on my breath. And you can do simple stuff like that. It doesn't have to be complicated. It's easier than a lot of people make it out to be.
Yeah.
A lot of people talked about your posture, and you have to keep, the spine has to be straight. And
I'm taking a break. I feel thanks.
And it's like, but then other teachers of yoga and consciousness, and people that work with us have said, we've had people have had amazing experiences, and they're slumping. They're like, so is it really necessary? It's probably helpful, but it's not the end all be all. It's more about your intention. It's more about where you put your conscious awareness.
Yeah. And I'm here. We're here. Holidays are here. It's time to be our best, look our best, feel our best, and get that life back. I mean, I know it's like you're not supposed to make New Year's resolutions because they say they're really going to fail. Not all, but why not? As a coach, have you seen success stories? Come on, it is New Year's, right? Coming up soon.
New Year's resolutions?
A lot of us make them. Don't stick to them. But what advice do you have for us today?
Okay, so so one of the things that we're doing when we make a resolution is that we want to change some behavior Usually it's a behavior that we have, and we consciously want to change that behavior. And the problem is the behavior is actually in the subconscious mind. And we talked about this before. So the conscious mind has the ability to process 40 bits of information a second. The subconscious mind can process 40 million. And so the subconscious mind is running our lives. And so if you want to change a habit, you need to tap into the subconscious part of that. And so making a resolution is setting yourself up for failure. If you want to change anything, you really need to, first of all, awareness is the way to do it. I mean, you become aware that, I don't know if it's, we talked about eating a couple of weeks ago and, compulsive eating. I just went to the refrigerator again. And you become aware that you're doing this, but you're doing it as a method of escape. You're not doing it because you're hungry, but you want to change that. And so awareness is really the way to change that, but it takes time and it takes compassion with yourself to, stop beating yourself up, and just realize that everybody is dealing with this. Everybody has a subconscious mind that is running the show. And if your subconscious mind is not in alignment with what you consciously want, you're pushing a boulder up a hill.
Yep, got it. Well, thank you so much. Michael Pijanowski, how do we reach out to you?
You can reach out to me through my website, enjoytheridetexas.com. You can send me an email. You can shoot me a text. We can have a free phone consultation and see if we jive,
Perfect. Is this our last show?
I think it might be.
Okay. I don't know either, but pleasure working with you all these months and looking forward to the next time we connect. We will meet again.
Yes. Very good.
Thank you. Hopefully it'll be down in Dallas. Woo!
All right.
I know New York is boring. I like Dallas better, but you have a great day. Michael Pijanowski, have a happy holiday as well. New Year if we don't speak. And to all of our listeners, the same. Stay tuned. Reach out to Michael. He's awesome. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.